Sucking up to the Muse. The crazy habits of famous writers. We all know writing is serious business, but apparently there are no rules when it comes to getting those words on the page. Some authors crank out novels like clockwork, while others obsess over crafting the perfect sentence. But one thing's for sure, this is a one-track mind kind of life for most writers. Inspiration is a fickle friend, and let's be honest, writing can be a total drag. But when the Muse finally graces you with her presence, the feeling is pure magic. Still, for the most part, it takes serious dedication and a whole lot of crazy to become a master wordsmith. We mere mortals take for granted the 26 letters of our alphabet. We use them to scold kids, write grocery lists, confess our love, the usual. But in the hands of a skilled writer, those same letters transform into breathtaking worlds and unforgettable characters. So the question remains, what is their secret? How do they do it? Buckle up, because we're about to explore the extreme lengths some of your favorite authors go to create literary masterpieces we hold so dear. Get ready for some seriously strange writing rituals. You won't believe what these folks get up to in the name of creativity. Agatha Christie, arguably the queen of whodunits, might scoff at modern bathtubs. She famously complained they lacked the nice wooden ledge of her time, perfect for resting pencils and plotting murders with a cup of tea and an apple, a bathtime ritual that fueled her creativity. But Christie wasn't alone in finding inspiration in the tub. Other luminaries and historical figures who soaked her way to success include Winston Churchill and the American polymath Benjamin Franklin, who gets credit for bringing the first bathtub to the US in the 1780s and was known for enjoying long contemplative baths. French playwright Edmond Rostand and Vladimir Nabokov, who penned the infamous Lolita from the soapy sanctuary, all enjoyed a good soaking. Deadlines and distractions can be a writer's worst enemy. Victor Hugo, the life of the party in 19th century Paris, would undoubtedly have preferred a night at a brothel to wrestling with his manuscript. However, faced with a looming deadline for The Hunchback of Notre Dame in the winter of 1830, Hugo resorted to a rather unorthodox method. He donned a massive grey shawl and, with a fresh bottle of ink at hand, instructed his servant to lock away his clothes. Trapped in his room with no escape but through the completed manuscript, Hugo channeled his restless energy into his writing. Hugo's commitment to his deadline mirrored the intensity of Jack Kerouac's writing process. Fueled by a potent mix of creativity and amphetamines, Kerouac sought to capture the frantic energy of his Beat Generation experiences. To avoid interruption, he constructed a massive 120-foot scroll of paper, freeing him from a constant need to reload his typewriter. In a 3-week frenzy, powered by Benzedrine and coffee, Kerouac poured his experiences onto the paper in a single, unbroken stream of consciousness. This raw manuscript, brimming with hitchhiking adventures, hobo encounters, and moonlit nights, became a manifesto for a generation yearning for freedom and meaning in a rapidly evolving world. While Jack Kerouac found inspiration in Benzedrine and coffee, Anthony Burgess faced a different kind of motivation. In 1959, he was confronted with a grim medical prognosis, a brain tumor giving him less than a year to live. Fueled by the desire to ensure financial stability for his wife, Burgess drove into a feverish bout of writing, producing an impressive 5 novels in the subsequent year. Burgess's writing surge continued with his most famous work, the dystopian novella A Clockwork Orange, published in 1962. He defied his initial diagnosis by a remarkable margin, outliving his wife and penning 30 more novels before succumbing to lung cancer in 1993. While fear of death can be a powerful motivator, inspiration can strike in far stranger ways. Take the esteemed writer Friedrich Schiller, known for the poem An der Freude, Ode to Joy, immortalized by Beethoven. In a peculiar twist, Schiller kept a drawer in his writing desk filled with rotting apples. His wife confirmed his unusual habit, stating he could not live or work without it. These pungent apples, it seems, were his muse. An intriguing, if speculative, explanation. Rotting fruit releases methane gas. While not toxic, methane can displace oxygen in a confined space. For a dedicated writer like Schiller, this could have led to mild lightheadedness, a feeling sometimes associated with a surge of creative inspiration. It is possible the apples were more than just a strange smell, but a biochemical influence on his writing process. Many writers are early birds, and Dan Brown, the author of The Da Vinci Code, is one such. Every single day, 365 days a year, he starts cranking out words at 4 a.m. No internet, no distractions, just pure focus. His weapon of choice? A traditional writing desk, complete with an antique hourglass, keeps him on track. But Brown's routine gets even more interesting during his hourly breaks. Forget coffee. This author gets his creative juices flowing with a set of sit-ups, push-ups and stretches. And wait, there's more. Brown also utilizes his gravity boots to hang upside down like a bat. This bat-inspired break helps him to tackle plot challenges and sharpen his focus. Like Dan Brown, Ernest Hemingway was an early riser, preferring the quiet focus of dawn to begin his writing day. Contrary to popular belief, Hemingway wasn't fueled by alcohol while writing. His workspace is a testament to his dedication. He stood at a desk with a chest-high bookshelf, his typewriter perched on top. First drafts were meticulously crafted on pencil on onion skin paper, angled across a slanted reading board. When the inspiration flowed, the board was cast aside and Hemingway switched to the rhythmic clatter of a typewriter. Hemingway held himself accountable for progress. He meticulously tracked his daily word count, ensuring he wasn't fooling himself about his productivity. He wrote until his creative wellspring ran dry, stopping at a point where he still knew what would happen next. This allowed him to live the day when he'd return with renewed focus. The often quoted line, "Done by noon, drunk by 3, that's my philosophy," lacks verifiable attribution to Hemingway. While he enjoyed a drink, he maintained a clear distinction. Writing was a time of focus, and leisure hours were for unwinding with a drink. This quote might reflect a generalization of his habits, but it's not an accurate portrayal of his writing process. Haruki Murakami joins the ranks of early birds. His approach to writing is nothing short of disciplined. He wakes before 5 a.m. and prioritizes the most important task, crafting his novel. This regimented schedule allows him to tap into his peak morning focus. By 10 or 11 a.m., Murakami puts writing aside and transitions to physical activity. He runs for 10 kilometers or swims for 1,500 meters, or tackles both, followed by reading and music. He maintains a strict 9 p.m. bedtime, ensuring consistency throughout the day. This unwavering routine isn't just about scheduling, it's a key to his creative process. Murakami describes it as a form of self-hypnosis, a daily ritual that lulls him into a deeper mental state conducive to writing. He acknowledges the mental and physical fortitude required to maintain the schedule for months on end, comparing it to a grueling mountain climb. You overcome your limitations or you don't, he reflects, highlighting the perseverance needed to complete a novel. While Murakami likened writing a long novel to survival training demanding both physical strength and artistic finesse, Stig Larsson, a former Swedish soldier and self-described Trotskyite who even ventured to Eritrea in 1977 to train female guerrillas with the Marxist EPLF movement, smoked incessively, drank endless cups of coffee, and lived on junk food. In contrast to Murakami's disciplined routine, Larsen's writing schedule evolved. According to his partner, Ivo Gabrielson, he initially wrote evenings and weekends, maintaining his usual sleep patterns. However, by 2004, the year Larsen poured his energy into the Millennium Trilogy, his dedication intensified. Gabrielson observed a shift. Larsen worked throughout the day, neglecting his magazine work, and often wrote late into the night, sometimes finishing around 3 or 4 a.m. She believed the trilogy became a sanctuary to him. Unlike the early birds, Rudyard Kipling, the first English and youngest writer to win the Nobel Prize, preferred a late start. After rising, he'd retreat to his study, a cluttered haven he affectionately called "my dunghill." Here, he'd write for hours at a time, surrounded by his creative chaos. Despite the untidiness, a specific order reigned. His particulars made ensured his inkwell was always filled with fresh, dark Indian ink, the darkest available. Kipling even imagined having an ink boy solely dedicated to grinding ink, believing the blackness gave his words lasting power. When inspiration waned, Kipling embarked on long walks in the Sussex countryside, a practice he called hatching, where ideas took form in his mind. His study also housed a daybed in a corner, a dedicated space for him to wait for his muse. He described this process as listening for his demon, a guiding spirit, and followed a mantra of drift, wait, and obey. Born in India, like Kipling, Eric Arthur Blair, the future George Orwell, moved to England at a young age. Various similarities end. Known for masterpieces like Animal Farm and 1984, Orwell battled ill health as he hammered away at his battered Remington typewriter. He tirelessly revised, often retyping entire chapters. Working in bed, he described the task as a grisly job on his decrepit machine. Fueled by endless cups of strong coffee and tea, rolled up cigarettes, and a meagre paraffin heater against the Scottish cold, he persevered. In his essay, Why I Write, he famously captured the essence of a writer's struggle. Writing a book is like an ordeal, an exhausting fight, like a long illness. You wouldn't do it if you weren't driven by an invisible force, a demon you can't resist or explain. Perhaps it's the same impulse that makes a baby cry out for attention. Despite losing his sight completely for the last 2 decades of his life, John Milton continued to produce a remarkable amount of work. This included his crowning achievement, the epic poem Paradise Lost, a 10,000-line masterpiece composed between 1658 and 1664. Remarkably, Milton achieved this feat by relying on his memory and dictation. He would dictate his work to his secretary or, on occasion, his daughters. An interesting detail emerges about this process. Milton would wander the house muttering, "I want to be milked, I want to be milked," if his secretary was ever delayed. Perfectionists understand the urge to discard everything regardless of the effort invested. Legend has it that Harper Lee experienced a similar temptation with the manuscript of a soon-to-be renowned novel, To Kill a Mockingbird. Rumor has it that Lee was so frustrated that he even tossed a draft out of a New York City window. A self-described slow but steady worker, Lee retreated from public eye following the book's success. Intensely private, she stopped giving interviews in the 1960s, and public appearances reportedly caused her anxiety. Sidonie Gabrielle Colette, known simply as Colette, was a writer with unique habits. She wrote in longhand and possessed an eccentricity regarding paper. Initially, she bought it by weight, preferring any color but white. Later, she switched exclusively to blue or green,
finding these shades easier on her eyes. Colette was also a devoted pet owner, fond of cats and dogs. A well-known ritual involved a meticulous grooming of one of her feline companions before embarking on her writing sessions. One might be tempted to view Colette as a light-hearted author based on her 1944 novella Gigi. The story follows a young woman groomed to become a courtesan like her grandmother. However, the narrative takes a turn when a wealthy playboy falls in love and proposes marriage. Despite offering readers a charming escape with its portrayal of a bygone Parisian social scene, Gigi also masks Colette's clandestine wartime activities. In secret, she bravely harbored and helped Jews, including her husband. Award-winning author Hilary Mantel of Wolf Hall and Bring Up the Bodies describes writing fiction as an immersive and unpredictable experience. Each morning, she captures the fleeting thoughts from her dreams before they fade, sometimes even writing through the night. Mantel identifies as a long thinker, fast writer. This means significant portions of her writing day involve focused thought away from her keyboard. When facing writer's block, she admits to tensing up until my body locks up into a struggling knot. Her solution? A hot shower. She jokingly claims the technique and her writing process make her the cleanest person I know. Alexandre Dumas, a renowned author of The Three Musketeers and the Count of Monte Cristo, was a man of fascinating eccentricities. He reportedly wrote on distinct coloured paper, rose for non-fiction, blue for fiction, and yellow for poetry. His tidiness extended to unusual lengths. To combat insomnia and establish a routine, he supposedly ate an apple every morning at 7 o'clock sharp, all under the Arc de Triomphe. Beyond his famous novels, Dumas held a cherished project close to his heart. He called it a pillow of my old age and considered it his magnum opus. This ambitious endeavour was a monumental culinary history titled Le Grand Dictionnaire de Cuisine. Unfortunately, it remained unpublished at the time of his death. Ayn Rand's writing process for her novel The Fountainhead took an unusual turn in 1942. After years of meticulous planning, she began using benzodrine and amphetamine. The drug accelerated her output to an average of a chapter per week. However, this reliance quickly became a crutch. Rand continued using amphetamines for the next 3 decades despite the negative side effects. Mood swings, irritability, paranoia, tendencies she already possessed to some degree. Rand wasn't alone in seeking a writing boost through amphetamines. In 1939, Graham Greene found his usual output of 500 words dramatically increased to 2,000 words a day while taking the drug. Fortunately, Greene managed to break free from its grip relatively quickly. Jean-Paul Sartre's relationship with drugs bordered on the extreme. According to Annie Cohen-Solal's biography, Sartre, Alive, 1987, a typical day for a philosopher involved a staggering amount of substances. 2 packs of cigarettes, pipefuls of tobacco, a quart of alcohol, wine, beer, hard liquor, amphetamines, barbiturates, aspirin, and copious amounts of coffee and tea. This fueled his boundless energy and prolific writing. On Corridrain, a potent mix of amphetamine and aspirin, Sartre reportedly turned out 20 or more pages a day. However, this productivity came at a heavy cost. To counter the amphetamine stimulating effects and finally sleep, Sartre resorted to barbiturates. In a dangerous experiment with psychedelics, he even injected himself with a massive dose of mescaline, leading to hallucinations that plagued him for a year. The writing life isn't for the faint of heart, but for some masters of words, the process can be surprisingly quirky. Like Hilary Mantel, Woody Allen found inspiration in frequent showers. Maya Angelou retreated to specially booked hotel rooms to focus solely on her craft. Patricia Highsmith, on the other hand, thrived amidst the chaos of her ashtray-filled bed, surrounded by cigarettes, snacks and sugar. Many authors have found their voice from the comfort of their beds. Edith Sitwell, another bedwriter, even took things a step further, allegedly seeking inspiration by lying in an open coffin. Charles Dickens believed sleeping north improved his creativity, while fellow insomniac Emily Bronte walked circles around the dining room table to tire herself out. Jane Austen was a paragon of privacy, deeply self-conscious about her writing. She used small pieces of paper that could easily be hidden from any unexpected visitors. Thanks for tuning into this video. Your interest means a lot. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. And don't forget to hit the notification bell.